You're listening to the Public Health Entrepreneurs Podcast with your host, Dr. Charlotte Huntley. Imagine showing up with your challenges and your dreams and then leaving 2 hours later with a complete strategic plan for the next year. Welcome to Public Health Entrepreneurs, the podcast for visionary leaders who are ready to transform public health and healthcare through innovation. I'm your host, Dr. Charlotte Huntley, and as a public health entrepreneur with over 25 years of experience in healthcare and public health, I understand the unique challenges and opportunities that come with bridging multiple disciplines. Now, last episode, I talked about planning for the new year, some things to do. I shared some strategies. And this episode, we're going to take it a step farther because I'm going to share with you an opportunity. Like I mentioned at the top of this recording, if you could imagine showing up, and this time I'm talking about a strategy session where on this podcast, I share a lot of strategies with you, but imagine showing up, sitting down with me in a virtual setting and going through some of the things that I've talked about on the last episode. But this time we're going to peel back a few layers, dive deeply, and help you implement what I've discussed so that you walk away at the end of that time together really uplifted with a clear plan for what you want to accomplish in the next year and how to go about accomplishing that. Well, that's what I'm going to share with you on this episode. The opportunity that becomes real, that you can take advantage of, is something that I've facilitated in recent years, and it's always been a huge success, and it's helped so many people. And if I roll back years ago when I first started my business, because I've consistently invested in coaching throughout my time in business. And I've experienced that with my coaches over the years. And I've developed what I think of as something that is what I wish I had and what I did have a bit of, but what I see so many of my clients, people that I've helped start their businesses, when I share some of this in bits and pieces across the years, I've taken their feedback, incorporated into a framework that I've developed, and I've really fine-tuned this system. And I've been able to repeatedly watch more and more people. Every time I implement this, people take advantage of it and really watch their businesses grow and watch them soar. And that's what I'm offering for you, the opportunity to do that. So sometimes when we think about guidance for setting goals, when we hear people talk about business goals and you should set your goals, and it's one thing to hear all the things that we should be doing or that we need to be doing for our businesses. We are scientifically trained. A lot of us, the interdisciplinary fields, we've got healthcare, public health, pharmaceutical, it could be environmental, IT, whatever your background, you're trained for that niche. And then when we incorporate business, now some of you have an MBA and you have business skills. Sometimes that's really great for how we pour it out to someone else. But really bringing our business together and having that skill set to really have the guidance and how do we create the business side of the business, the marketing, the sales, doing all the things. We are the experts. We have the subject matter expertise. But then there's this other side of it. And how do we create the business? Of course, this one part of it. But once you've created the business, now this is really speaking to those of you who have a business that you've gotten the idea, all the things formatted, you know what you want to do. Now it's about the revenue. Maybe you've been making whatever the amount of money is now. And to be honest, in the first few years of business, you're just doing whatever comes along and you make some money and you keep going. And that's how we all learn and grow. And given the year we've had in public health, and I'm laughing about it in a sense, but this is at the time I'm recording this, it's 2025, in the fall of 2025. This has been a really rough year in public health. So those of you who had really solid systems in your business, you may have found that it's been really shaken up in this year, and you may find yourself feeling a little scrappy like you did at the very beginning. All of that is okay. If you're still in business, it's a huge win. If you're needing to pivot and change, all of that is a part of being in business. No matter what, the longer you're in business, there's going to always be something that will throw you for a curve, whether it's political administration or pandemic or any number of things in between. So back to the purpose here, I'm realizing that this is an incredible opportunity for me to provide with you the chance to come alongside of me and work with me to guide you in this process that I keep sharing the strategies about. So when you're thinking about goals, setting goals for the next year of your business, you may come up with a number, or you may have a goal that you just, maybe it's a passionate thing you've had in your heart. You just kind of pull it out of the air, so to speak. And you may have questions like, how do I set goals for my business? Do I know how to set this goal? It's just, for a lot of people, it's like, okay, well, I just want to have money in the bank account and I can pay the business bills. That's a huge goal. I get it. But really, how to formulate the goals for your business, because we all start our business, we want the revenue, we have all these ideas, but a lot of us, especially connected to the public health industry, whatever these other disciplines you have overlapping with public health, at our core, we care about impact. We want to have this positive impact on communities that we serve and causes that we care about and people that we care about. So that impact, and how do we set the goals for what we want to do in our business? And oftentimes we need that guidance. We need some help. I know it's been extremely helpful. I've walked into many strategy sessions with my coach, having some idea of what I want to do, and then going through this guidance and process with my coach to then solidify that or take it to a deeper level or really articulate it in a much more specific way by the end of that time. So it's valuable to have that guidance and support so that you can align with your vision for your business, to have that goal aligned so that it's much more meaningful and it drives you in a much more passionate way. Maybe it taps into your passion in a different way, but having a really well articulated goal and vision and strategy for accomplishing that goal. I guess that is often the missing piece. A goal can be, I want to hit 6 figures next year. Okay, that's great. Well, how are you going to do that? And it's not just pulling it out of the air, what you've heard all these people say, but it's really looking at your own business and figuring out, what is it that I need for my business in order to reach this goal, which is very different than just doing what you see others doing. So sometimes the questions that pop into your mind when you think about goals is not just, how do I set goals for my business, but what do I need to do to reach my goals? And where are the biggest needs in my business? Oftentimes we are doing work in our business that is really important, but is this the biggest need? Is this going to get me closer to my goal? Having a well-articulated goal helps you to ask that question and keeps you guiding yourself and course correcting if you veer off into something else that's really, really important, but it may not be the thing that's getting you closer to the goal. So maybe it's not the thing we can pause on and move back to center, right? And then some other questions may be, really, what do I focus on? Just what I described helps you answer that question. And then also, when we decide on that goal for the year, I want to reach the 6-figure mark, then how do we chunk that down? What does that mean a quarter by quarter? And then even on a monthly basis and on a weekly basis, and even niching it down to the daily basis. And I say that because sometimes hitting that goal is not exactly evenly. If it's 6 figures, it's not exactly 25,000 in each quarter. Sometimes it is, but to reach that, what are we doing? Sometimes we need to work on this or that thing, and it's not exactly the same for each business owner, and it's not the same thing that you're working on or focusing on in each quarter either. All those things are really important, but having the guidance to get through that and really setting that up is the thing that is becoming the opportunity. So deciding on these action steps for your business and the things, what you need to take action on, what you need to do, articulating all that is really the opportunity that I'm sharing with you. I recently, at the time of this recording, sat down at a retreat. So I lead mastermind programs, but I also am in a mastermind program, and I have been in for the last several years with my coach and a small group of other entrepreneurs. And it's always a wonderful time, but we just completed our strategic planning for next year. So this is very top of mind for me, and it brought back so many memories over the last few years. And it's something I drafted out. And like I said, I've conducted these strategic planning sessions, usually for my clients, like my one-on-one clients and my mastermind group clients. But this time I'm sharing with you on this podcast, and I'm sharing this with those of you who are subscribed to our podcast newsletter. If you get emails from us, you want to make sure you're checking your inbox, because I'm sharing this opportunity where you'll be able to work with me to receive some guidance for strategic planning for next year. Now, a lot of this was inspired from my recent experience. It just really opened up so much of my heart. And for the times that we're in right now, it's so frustrating, has been a frustrating year. And I think this is such a time that I need to open it up a little more broadly so that maybe I can help more people. And also, it makes it more accessible because of the format that we're going to use and how we're going to set this up. I'm going to pull from what I've done in the past, my own experience, what I've also delivered to my clients in the past, 4 years of hosting group coaching and mastermind programs and working with a lot of public health entrepreneurs, I've learned so much. And just getting to this point in this year is almost like, dog years. It's like we've learned so much more. It's been so much more of an intense experience in this 1 year as a public health consultant or entrepreneur of any type. And I know you can all relate. So I want to be able to, like I said, share all these things with you, the framework that I've developed, what I've used in the past. And this opportunity comes in two parts. I'm offering this right now for a small group of those of you that can sit with me in a live setting. This is a virtual setting, but it's a small group. So those of you that are on the email list, if you are listening to this episode as it's being released, and I rearranged the lineup of my podcast episodes so that I can make this one available right now in the lineup compared to what I was originally planning to share with you right now. But I wanted to give the opportunity to those of you who are listening. And this sounds like, and if you want to work with me, opportunity to work more closely with me to develop your strategic plan, then for a small group, you're able to sit with me and create this workshop. We'll have this workshop experience. There'll be intense learning. There'll be some pre-work, intense learning, and then you'll have the opportunity to engage, ask your questions, engage with me live. And then that will be recreated into an on-demand version that if you happen to be listening, let's say in December, and this time frame is, we've already finished the live and you're thinking, oh man, I wish I had done that. No worries. It's designed intentionally to be on demand. So if you're listening to this and it's the time, it's going to be released the end of October and you're listening to this in December, you think you've missed out. You have not missed out. In the description for this episode, it'll take you to a link where you can then enroll in the on-demand version. So whether you're able to join, it's only a very small group of people that can join me live. And if you're able to grab a seat in there, it's wonderful because it's a great, exciting time to be live. But I'm designing this with great care and intention so that when you watch on demand, you participate on demand, you're going to feel very connected to me. And that is how I've always had my programs. And that's important to me for you to have that experience. So when you're on demand, you can spread it out over a period of time or you can binge it all at once and do the work. But I want to make this accessible to as many of you as possible. And ideally, I love the delivery of the end of the year so that you can hit the ground running in the new year. But again, the on-demand version will be available. So you may be listening in January and it's still a wonderful time for you to jump in and get your strategic plan for the year. Also, it's going to include some quarterly work too. So it's going to be valuable no matter when you're listening. You may listen to this in May and now you're thinking, I didn't do all that goal planning at the beginning of the year. You don't have to wait till the next year. You can sign up for this program, even if it's in April or May or whatever it is in the year, and sit through the training and set your goals up and then implement them. It's an incredible opportunity. I'm excited because I know this will be valuable for people no matter what part of the year you're listening and implementing, but especially if you're listening and you're able to do this live with me or, do the on-demand right at the onset of the year. So I've given you a lot in this episode, but I hope that you are going to be able to take advantage. Now, I will keep you up to date as we continue over the next several weeks. And of course, if you're not receiving emails from us already, then make sure that you subscribe right now so that you can be among the first to know as we progress along and when the on-demand version is available. And like I said, we'll replace the links in the show notes and in the description so that whenever you discover this, you fall upon this episode, then you'll be able to take advantage of the training. I am beyond excited because frankly, this is the first way creating these types of programs. It was the first way that I began to generate revenue in my business. It was the first way. And back then I was just focused on career coaching. This was 8 years ago, and it was career coaching, and this is how I deliver it through strategy sessions in a virtual situation or setting, and then courses or workshops or, programs. I like to call them programs instead of courses because I think all of us with a strong academic background are kind of tired of courses. So the idea of a program feels more fitting. At least that was just me. So when you hear me talk about programs, that's usually how I'm referring to my courses. But at any rate, it feels great to create these opportunities to share with you and to connect with you and provide this kind of support that can reach many more people than are able to come into the mastermind program or work with me one-on-one. So At any time, if you ever have questions or comments about anything that we share on this podcast, once you subscribe to our email, you can always reply to any of the emails, and that is a quick way to get to us. Or you can go to our website and certainly go to the Contact Us tab and just send a message. I just don't want you to feel that you're not able to reach out to us if you have questions or interested in participating, or you're having trouble navigating through to show notes or finding anything that you may be looking for. All right? I'm excited. I hope you are too. So I'm looking forward to working with those of you that are able to join live, as well as those of you who engage in the on-demand and getting your feedback and following and supporting your business growth as well. You can reach us at publichealthentrepreneurs.com. All right, everyone. Until next time, have a fantastic rest of your day. Thank you for listening. Visit publichealthentrepreneurs.com to learn more.